All right, we're back for another episode of Talking Preps, and it's looking a little light in here. Gary, you have any reasons why it might be a little light in the room?
Well, I thought more of Randall. You know, I issued a challenge to him the last time we were on here about, make sure you show up if Tar Heels come. Didn't I issue that challenge?
You did.
I issued it. And where is he?
He said he had to work tonight. So we're gonna come back on the backside of this. I'm gonna let you give Randall your Tar Heel message, then we'll get on with the show.
Okay.
All right. Let me find the music.
I gotta take off.
No, the hat was too much.
Yeah, well, I want that stuff for Randall. I wanted him to see all shades of Tar Heel blue, navy blue, light blue, got a little gray, got a little white, all the stuff I wore for Randall, he don't even show up.
Well, the plan was
the team didn't show up.
The plan was we were going to let Randall give his rebuttal, but I'll just ask you, are you surprised by the UNC Duke score? Were you surprised by the post-game handshake thing and Duke saying they were mad because Carolina didn't honor Coach K when he was a Chapel Hill? Just the whole thing. What were you surprised by anything?
Well, first of all, the handshake deal. Here's the deal. Before games, the assistant coaches come out, and they may or may not mingle. And then the head coaches come out right before the tip. And usually the visiting coach, the home coach will go greet the visiting coach. And the head coaches shake hands. The head coaches, unless they have a personal relationship, they don't go shake everybody's hand that's an assistant. Now, if they have personal friends on the other staff, yeah, they may recognize them. I thought what Caraway did was petty. Coach didn't shake my hand. Well, you're not the head coach. I've been in both situations where I've been the assistant and I've been the head. The head coaches shake hands before the game, not the assistant and the head. It doesn't work that way.
Right. Were you surprised by the game, though, that Carolina could pull away from them? And K set Mark Williams for the last 6 minutes of the game as this was happening. The ACC Defensive Player of the Year.
As the game went on, I kept waiting for Carolina to collapse. I'm going to be honest with you. Because that's what they have done in a lot of big games this year. And you can only go by history. And I kept waiting for the guards to falter. And they never did in the second half. Now, Caleb Love didn't have a good first half, but he had an awesome second half. And RJ Davis played great the whole game.
Yeah.
And that's something that has been lacking on a consistent basis to get both of them to play well in a big game. And then I think the key thing is they were able to keep Baycott out of foul trouble to the second half. Yeah. And being that he was able to play in the second half, I think it made a huge difference. And then when it got to about the 5-minute mark, I told a friend of mine, we were watching the game together, and I said, we might sneak around and win this thing. and at that point, Duke started playing hero ball.
Yeah.
He started coming down, making one pass, shot, one-on-one shot. And they shot themselves out of the game, and Carolina capitalized, and they made the free throws at the end. So here's what I tell my Duke friends. I don't care how many games these two schools play against each other. You have to throw the records out. But this is going to go down is the one game neither school will ever forget.
Yeah, speaking of that, Coach Lewis, what did you think about Coach K's post-game comments when he said it's unacceptable and told the crowd to, kind of pipe down? What did you think of that?
I think he was sending a message to his team, get them prepared for the NCAA tournament. You could tell he was a little bit agitated and very disappointed in the play of Duke, and I think he was sending a message basically to his team.
Angry Duke is not a good Duke. I think they're going to be trouble in ACC tournament.
Here's the way I saw it through my light blue eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. The way I saw it through my light blue eyes is y'all ruined my day.
Right.
You know, y'all ruined my day. And, you know, at my school, they honor the seniors on senior day. They recognize the parents. Every senior gets to start.
Yep.
You didn't hear one word about the Duke seniors.
No.
You know, you didn't see that. It was all about K. Mm-hmm. And I think it blew up in their face, and I enjoyed every second of it.
All right, but Gary, sticking with you, if Chambers three-peats on Saturday in the 4A state championship game against a really good Apex Friendship team, where do they rank among the greatest girls teams of all time? There's never been a 4A team to three-peat.
I think you would probably have to put them in the top 5. I don't know you, and this is where you need Alex, because he can rattle that stuff off. I know Broughton back in the 80s when Ed Baldwin was the head coach. Yep. They ran off a series of wins, and it catapulted his career into coaching with K-Yow and then being the head coach at UNCC. Mm-hmm. I didn't see those teams, but I think they won 2 or 3 in a row.
Yeah, there's been 6 teams in the 4A class. I looked up today. Freedom won 94-95, 71st won 03-04, Millbrook won 12-13, Myers Park won 14-15, Northwest Guilford won 2017-2018. So this would be the first three-peat.
Yeah. Here's the thing that critics may say about the Vance Chambers run. Okay. The first one, they didn't actually play the state championship. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's not their fault.
Right.
That's COVID.
Yep.
The second one, they played a very abbreviated schedule. Yeah. Only a 7-game regular season.
Yeah.
And so that's not their fault.
Right.
This year they played a full schedule with an entirely different team.
Only one regular player,
with the exception of one player coming back. Yeah. So they did it with a whole different team. I think that's what's remarkable by the chamber staff and Coach Donnell Ryan.
Yeah.
I think that's the remarkable thing, that he can go back a third time with an almost completely new team playing a different style.
Yeah.
So that's why I say they would still be in my top 5, just from the fact that he had to do it under different circumstances. He had to do it at the beginning of COVID, in the middle of COVID, at the end of COVID, and they still found a way to win. You can only play the games that are scheduled. So right. It's not their fault that these obstacles, they adapted, they adjusted, and they overcame. So that's why I would say top 5. Where in the top 5? I don't know. I'm not a historian like that, but I would still say top 5.
All right. Rick, if Wellington goes 49-0 and wins another chip on Saturday, what's their legacy? And because this is a local team of local kids, will it change how high school teams are constructed?
I hope so. I think with Weddington, the old saying is, teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah. And with Weddington, they're the true definition of a team. And we spoke about it last week. 11 of their 12 players played together at the middle school level, and they played together on the travel ball. I think it's a situation with Weddington. You had a group of kids that enjoyed playing with each other. They believed in each other, and they knew each other's move before anyone else did. But I think the most important thing that we can take from this is basically, although Weddington moved from 3A to 4A, it's still a small town that was able to have a lot of success and beat the big Charlotte teams like Chambers and North Met. And I think the other thing too that they can carry with them for the rest of their lives is, one thing, how to deal with adversity, and number 2, never give up. And if you're looking at Weddington, in the first round against Olympic, they were down. They had to rally to force it in overtime. And let's be honest, they were down by 7 points with a little over a minute to go against Chambers, and they came back and won. And then, of course, against North Mech, you're down 6 points with 59 seconds to go, and you find a way to win. And I think I mentioned it to you earlier. I think the thing that was impressive about it was, with 59 seconds to go in the game against North Mech was at the free throw line. They hit the 2 free throws. They went up 69-63. Mm-hmm. They immediately throw the ball in to Chase Lowe. He does one thing. He goes straight from one end of the court to the other, scores a layup in 4 seconds. And they call timeout and, of course, create the turnovers. They scored the last 9 points of the game. And I think that's something that all those young men from Wellington will take with them for the rest of their lives.
They almost seem like Destiny's Darlings, the way they just continue, kind of like the 83 NC State team.
I was thinking the same thing. That's a Valvano-esque.
They did. Yeah, they just keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back. All right, let's take a look at these 1A state girls finals. We got Bishop McGinnis playing Bertie Gary. Bishop McGinnis won 9 straight state titles. This is Bertie's first ever appearance. I don't know that, nobody from Bishop was on that 2014 champion. But right. Bishop has they have no players that play more than 21 minutes a game. That's really unusual.
That tells me either they're playing bad competition or they're very good. Or maybe both.
Well, they won't be playing bad competition on Saturday because Bertie's won 16 straight games. They got 3 really good players you see on the screen: Yaz Boone, Jessica Stokes, and Rakia Peel, all in double figures.
And here's an interesting thing about these 2 schools, okay? Bishop McGinnis is a private school that plays in a public school conference.
On-board parochial, yes.
Right. So those girls have probably played together since middle school.
Yes,
absolutely. Right? Then on the other hand, you got Bertie, which is probably the only school in the county. Mm-hmm. So those girls have probably played together since middle school.
Great point.
So when you have a situation like that where it's culture, both schools are built on culture because one is private and one comes from a very small county. And so, coming from a small county like that, they cycle, they have ups and downs, but when they hit an up, they really hit an up and they hit it big. So I'm looking at how many girls that they have averaging double figures. Once again, you wonder about the competition, with 1A schools being so far apart.
Right.
It should be an interesting matchup, but I have a Western bias, so I'm gonna lean towards Bishop McGinnis because even though they are a 1A private school, I'm thinking their girls have probably play AAU with public school girls from the Winston Greensboro area. And so they're used to that level of competition.
I mean, 2 things I see. Shout out to Adelaide Jernigan of Bishop McGinnis, averaging 17 points, lead the team in scoring. Bishop McGinnis is young. Their 3 key players are all coming back next year. But the one thing I see in this game, it seems like Bertie has more scoring punch if they need it than does Bishop McGinnis. But, we'll see how it goes. It looks like Bishop does play a lot of kids and everybody is getting playing time. So it's going to be kind of, can Yaz Boone and Jessica Stokes get off and get going or does Bishop kind of swallow them up with their team ball? I think that could be an interesting matchup. All right, let's take a look at the 2A if I can find it. Here we go. We got Salisbury and Farmville Central. This is one of the bigger girls' games of the weekend. Farmville Central, about their boys winning 3 state championships, as Coach Lewis is going to talk about a little bit. Girls team won 17 straight games, Gary, and they shared, we talked about Chambers sharing the title in 2020. Farmville shared the title with Newton Conover in 2020, but Salisbury's won 26 straight. They're deep. They're in their 6th state final. They're 4-1 overall in title games.
Well, once again, it's similar to the previous matchup that we talked about. Salisbury, even though it's not a big school system, they have a culture. I mean, they were winning a lot of state championships at the girls level, 3A, and were they ever 4A? I know we played.
No, I think they were they always 3A and 2A. I think.
Yeah, 3. I know they were 3A, and I know we used to.
Andrew Mitchell had them. They were really good.
Yeah, and we used to scrimmage them every year, so I know how good they are.
Yeah, they won 2A in 2009, 10, and 11.
Okay. And we played them those years, either opening, in the preseason part of the season or scrimmaging and that type of thing. But anyway, getting back to the current team, once again, culture. They are the girls program in Rowan County.
Yeah.
And, kids gravitate to that high school. I don't know, you want to say transfer or whatever, but they gravitate to Salisbury High School.
Right.
And those girls, most of them play AAU, they in bigger programs. And
now flip side, Farmville's the same way. Farmville's that destination school in a small town. I mean, it's really known for the boys, but their girls team, they've won the state championship. They won 17 in a row this year. They got 2 stud players in Jordan and McDaniel. I mean, I think this could be one of the better games, period, all weekend long, boys or girls. I think this is going to be a shootout. You shaking your head? No, you disagree?
No, I don't. I mean, when you get to this level, you don't expect any blowouts, and especially when you look at the records.
I've seen a lot of state championship girls blowouts in championship games. All right, here's one, Gary. Inca and Northwood. Inca started the season 4-8. They had a 3-game losing streak in February. They came to the playoffs at number 19 seed. And here they are, the state championship game. And they're facing Northwood, which has won 21 straight. This looks like a mismatch.
I don't think it is. Inca's on a roll. And not only that, they've won close games. So they know how to win. And they both played close games to get to the finals. One won by 2, the other one by 1.
Yeah.
So, Northwood has been tested. Sometimes you worry about these teams that have only, that are undefeated or only lost 1 or 2 games, and you wonder, have they been tested enough when they get to the championship and they run into adversity?
Right.
And Northwood has had some tight games, so they have had some adversity. When I was kind of looking at it, I was looking at how they score.
Right.
And when you got 2 players averaging over 15, most girls' games, that's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder what kind of style. I hadn't seen them on film or anything, what style they play. But for 2 girls to score that many points, that means that they must be playing an up-tempo type of style where they're playing a lot of pressure defense so they can
I wonder if they had some injuries. I was looking, I couldn't find, maybe that some of their kids were injured early because they really started slow, but they sure are, on the roll right now.
Well, once again, COVID. You don't know how many times they played a game and some of their kids had to sit out because of COVID.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. All right, let's take a look at the big girls game, the 4A game with McDonald's All-American Inca Navarre and Apex Friendship trying to knock off Chambers. Friendship's only lost to Panther Creek and Green Level. Navarre's sister, Jasmine Navarre, second leading scorer on the team. She's just a freshman, Gary, as Apex Friendship makes its first finals appearance.
Yeah, I kind of looked at them, and they are long. They got some height.
Yeah.
I think they had a 6. I looked on the roster, and they had a 5'10", a 5'11", a 6 foot, a 6'1", a 6'2". That's 5 girls, 5'10" or taller.
Yeah, and they got guards.
That's gonna make a difference.
Yeah.
And they're long and they're athletic.
Mm-hmm.
And Vance is usually the most Chambers, I'm sorry. Chambers is usually the most athletic team on the court.
Yeah.
And they're gonna run up against somebody that has size like they do and athleticism like they do. I could see this game in the high 60s.
Wow, it should be fun. Should be fun to watch and
check. Yeah. Hey, depending on how much gas costs on Saturday, I might go up there. It might be $2 more than it is today by Saturday.
Chambers playing for history. That's 2 ways that can go. That pressure can hit you kind of like it did the Duke kids, or you could grab it by the horns. All right, it's time to give out Ms. Basketball. Randall, for some reason, is not here. So
we know why Randall's not here.
so we're gonna
we know why Randall's not here.
Rick not laughing. Rick trying to keep it straight. So Randall came down to these 3 finals, Gary. We got the Inca Navarre, Sarah Strong, Blanca Thomas. Blanca went nuts, got her team to the semifinals. Strong got her team to a state championship. Navarre has her team in the state finals. Do you think Randall got it right with these 3 in terms of our finalists before we reveal who it is?
Yes, I don't have a problem with the finalists at all.
It was and it was not a tough decision for Randall. He didn't take very long to come up with this. He decided to go with Inca Navarre, McDonald's All-American, going to Stanford. She is Ms. Basketball. Give her a little hand clap.
Congratulations.
And we got a little video. We'll drop that.
Okay.
India's won a bunch of awards since she's been here. She was District Player of the Year. She was appreciative, thought it was great. But this was really a goal.
India Navarre's McDonald's All-American selection came as somewhat of a surprise. The Apex Friendship senior says she was too anxious to even watch the selection show.
My sister, she was watching it, And I was trying to hear if she was going to celebrate a little bit, but she did it. So I was like walking up there. She was like, no. And then she tricked me and showed me the picture, my name on the screen, and we started jumping up and down.
Head coach Scott Campbell explained that even before he met India, her high school career came with lofty expectations.
If you do this long enough, friends in the profession will say, hey, you got somebody coming. So I've heard it for so long that I'm really cynical. The summer before India's freshman year, first workout I came home, that summer I came home and told my wife, I said, she's pretty good.
Her ability to reach and surpass those expectations has landed her a scholarship with reigning national champion Stanford.
It was such a hard decision, but I think that was the best place for me.
When Stanford got in the picture and you knew she wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon, you go, how do you turn down the winningest coach in college basketball and Stanford?
But before Navarre heads out west, she'll travel to the Midwest to reunite with some of the country's best ballers.
I've played against many of those girls before in AAU and stuff, so I think it'll be a fun experience, something that I'll probably remember for a long time.
Trayvon Miles, ABC 11, Eyewitness News.
All right, shout out to our news partner in Raleigh, ABC 11, for that report. Gary,
That's awesome.
Go ahead.
My thoughts on her is last week Chambers had the challenge of Blanca Thomas.
Yes.
And they opened the game up in a boxing one.
Mm-hmm.
And she could never get in rhythm. But a center is dependent on the guards and other players to get them the ball.
She's bringing it.
The bar is not going to be dependent on somebody to get her the ball.
Yeah.
Because she'll have the ball.
Yes.
And that's a different type of strategy to come up with where she's going to have the ball in her hand, whereas a center is dependent on somebody else. So it'll be interesting. I think Chambers has the athletes and size to match up with her, but she's an All-American now. She's a McDonald's All-American, and size and athleticism, you're going to have some skill to match up with her. And so I'd be interested in see what type of strategy Chambers will use this week. Do they say, I got a perfect scenario. Back when I was at Vance and the boys and girls, we both went to the regionals the same time. Our boys were playing Chris Paul's team.
Yep, I remember.
And Kurt Wessler was a head coach at Vance then, and he decided what he was going to do with Chris Paul was take away his assist. He said, I'm going to let him score, but I'm not going to let him get 25 and 15 assists. And I think Chris, he hit over 30, but he only had like 2 or 3 assists. And so that's how he said, I'm going to make the others beat us.
Right.
And we're not going to double Chris or anything. If he gets it, because Chris's mentality is to share the ball.
Right.
And so he was always looking pass first. He really was a reluctant scorer. He would score if he had to. And that's what Coach Wessler's strategy was. We're going to make him have to score. And, Vance ended up winning the game. Chris got his points, but he didn't get the assist.
Right.
And I'm wondering, is Chambers going to say, all right, we can't stop her. Let's not waste our energy, running 2 and 3 people at her and then the rest of them beat us.
Right.
Let's maybe stop the rest of them and see if we can do it by ourselves. It's going to be an interesting strategy. I think Coach Ryan will mix it up, but I'll definitely be watching that game on Saturday. That's going to be a great matchup.
Well, shout out to India for winning the biggest basketball award in the state of North Carolina, Men's Basketball. It's an honor for us to give it out every year. So congratulations, India, to you and Apex Friendship. And best of luck to you guys in the state. Rick, you've been real quiet for the first 20 minutes. Hope you got a lot of water in your throat. It's your turn. We're going to go to 1A state finals. We got Hayesville and Chatham Charter, 2 teams with phenomenal records. Hayesville's winning by more than 25 a night. Chatham's won 25 straight. They average 14 steals a game. What's going to happen, Rick?
Well, this is a game that's it's a mirror image of each other. They're both very fundamentally sound. They very well coached, good basketball IQ. I think the difference in the game is Hayesville has 2 seniors that are the leading scorers, and McTaggart, and also Colby Ash, which I've seen him many times at our camp, and he's going to Palm Beach Atlantic. He's a really gifted point guard. He can score. He can facilitate. On the other hand, with Chatham, I got a chance to watch him this week, last weekend against Wilson Prep, and that was the first time I got a chance to watch them.
Okay.
4 of their top scorers are all underclassmen. You got Adam Harvey and also the Map kid averaging double figures, but they also have 2 freshmen that also average in double figures, and one of them is Adam's younger brother, Bo Harvey. Okay. So it's going to be experience versus youth. It's going to be a very interesting matchup, and whoever can control tempo. I think it's going to be a very evenly played game.
Well, there's a charter school in the 1A state finals, Gary. Did the changes the association make work?
I guess so in the eyes of Chatham Charter. I guess they don't have a problem with it. Maybe some of their competition may have had a problem with it, but I'm sure they don't have a problem with it.
Well, I'll say one thing. In the game against Wilson Prep, they manhandled the defending state champions at the 1A level in the game last Saturday.
Yeah. I'm sure that there's some people still a little mad there's a charter school state finals in 1A. All right, Rick, in 2A, we got Robinson, 27-3, playing Farmville. Farmville is the program in this class. What do you see here?
Well, I think the game could be a little bit closer than anticipated. I think if you look at it, Farmville Central, we've called it the 2A was the Farmville Central Invitational.
Yes.
We've had them picked. They won 3 state championships. This should be their 4-peat. But I think J.M. Robinson will battle a little bit. I think it's going to be closer than what everybody anticipates, because if you look at J.M. Robinson, out of their 3 losses, 2 of them came to 4A schools. I think they lost to Harding and also to Mallard Creek. They're also very athletic, and they also have a really strong post player in David Hobbs. So I think, they can match up with them, but at the end, I do think Farmville Central's the team to beat.
That's a tough, going to be tough sledding for Robinson up there, that they've not been in this type of environment. Farmville's going to be very comfortable in this environment. The crowds are going to be heavily Farmville more than likely. Because it's just geography. But Robinson's on a big run. I was a little curious about their competition early in the year, but as they got into the playoffs, they kept it going. And, here they are going for a state championship. So,
you have on the screen there, they have 4 players in double figures, and 3 of them are juniors. So they're going to be very good next year. Yeah,
they're going to be a problem. All right, 3A, we got West Charlotte and 71st. 71st won 10 straight games. Led by Xavier Matthews and Jared Davis, another couple underclassmen. 71st, Rick, trying for their first state final championship. West Charlotte is in the finals for the second time in 4 years. They lost to South Central a couple years ago. What do you see in this game?
I think this is going to be a dogfight. I really do. The thing about 71st is their entire starting lineup is all underclassmen, and there's one player on there that we don't have on the screen there, and that's 6'10" James Scott, who's averaging 11 points a game and 12 rebounds. I think when you look at West Charlotte, they have length and athleticism, but so does 71st. And I think the key to the game is going to be the guard play. Also with West Charlotte, I think Chad Traylor did a remarkable job last week with against Central Bears. And also Ollie Alford is going to be a key. I think it's going to be the ability of West Charlotte to control the tempo and limit turnovers, because both teams are very athletic and very long.
Rick, which one of those teams shoots the ball the best from the outside? Because you talk about the length that they have. It's going to be hard getting to the rim with that size. So how do especially West Charlotte, do you think they can make enough outside shots to negate the size of 71st?
Well, in the game plan they had against Central Cabarrus, the thing that they did is, and Coach Jacoby Davis did a remarkable job, instead of trying to dribble through their press, and they basically enticed the double team and they reversed it and then pitched ahead. In the game against Central Cabarrus, they shot the perimeter shot extremely well in the first half. West Charlotte's strength is going downhill, attacking the rim. And I think it's going to be a situation where both teams are athletic, both teams like to attack the basket, and it's going to come down to whoever gets into foul trouble.
Is West Charlotte is this the game West Charlotte's going to miss Donovan Raymond the most?
I had that on my notes that, that's a situation where you're going up against James Scott, 6'10", Donovan Raymond. Both of them are great rim protectors, and that's a situation where they may miss him just a tad.
Yeah, so Chance Morrow's probably going to take on that assignment. Slide over.
And, Chase has really stepped up. I mean, he had a tremendous game. Naturally, he had 24 points and 18 rebounds. It was a much smaller, team in Central Cabarrus. Right. But I think when you look at West Charlotte in the warm-ups, you look at their length and athleticism, you're going to see a mirror image with 71st.
Okay. That should be one of the more competitive games this weekend, it sounds like. And then we're going to finish out with the NC State Wolfpack, or also known as the Wellington Warriors, going into the 4A final. And we're going to get Rick starts here. Wellington going for the 48th. They won going for the 49th straight win. Panther Creek's won 5 straight games, so a little bit different. Panther Creek's making its first ever state finals appearance. Wellington has proven everybody wrong. Everybody said they couldn't move up from 3A to 4A, keep it going, Rick, and they sure have kept it going.
Well, I think Wellington's sort of the team of destiny, and then Panther Creek is a Cinderella story. Panther Creek finished 11-3 in the Southwest Wake 4A. They tied for second. And they had a difficult road too. They had to play New Hanover in the second round, which was the number 1 seed. And then they had to turn around and play Apex Friendship, who was the number 1 team in the conference. And then they had to go out and beat Millbrook and Cleveland. But the thing about it is, it's impressive what Panther Creek did. They were the lower seed. So guess what? They had to play most of those games on the road. Yeah. Now, as far as Weddington, we all counted Wellington out. I'll be the first one to admit it.
I'll be second.
What was that, Gary?
I said I'll be second.
Well, think about this. You know how in some of the college games, and they got in the football, like the percentage of chances of winning. But if you're thinking about it, you're going up against Chambers, and you're down 7 with a little over a minute to go in the game. You feel pretty good about Chambers winning, but that just shows the fight and the fortitude of Weddington. And then again, you're down 6 points.
Well, we got Coach
with 59 seconds to go, and they scored the last 9 points of the game. I mean, who would have figured? But that's just a testament to Gary Weddington and the kids on the team, that they just believe in each other. And like I said, they're a true definition of team.
Yeah. Do they exhale this week? No, I
don't think so. I think
you don't think they exhale.
I think they're on that Kobe Bryant thing. Job not finished. I really do. I think they're on that Kobe Bryant thing. We got Coach Goodson just signed in. He had a meeting that ran over, so it's a little late. Coach, before we talk about Panther Creek, I want to talk about your old school, West Charlotte. Since we have you on here, let me find their thing against Rick. Rick thinks this is going to be a really close game. What do you see here from the Lions, and how many starters are going to be out, and what do you see here from the Lions?
Well, we do know that 6'8" Donovan Raymond will be out that game, but I'm fully confident. I watched the last game. The freshman Chandler Traylor, if he controls the game the way he did in the semifinal round, and he takes on and it kind of grows up on the fly. I think my guys will bring it home. Now, I did have a chance to see 71st over the summer. As you know, I did go to Fayetteville State, so I'm
I know. That's why I want you to talk about
area. And Tony Jones, who's the new coach over there at 71st, he won college. He was coach at UNC Pembroke a couple years ago, and he won Coach of the Year at the college level. Yeah. So he's doing a great job. Those guys are super long, super athletic, and then he got some help over the year. When X transferred over, a guy that played for us, Team United, last year. And he's just kind of took over the team and took ownership over the team, and he's kind of led them there. But he does have a lot of help. It should be a good one. It should be a good one. But again, I think West Charlotte gets the job done. And I may be a little biased, guys, so I'm not going to
well, Coach, I would agree. I tell you what, and I mentioned it earlier, Chad Traylor did a phenomenal job against Central Cabarrus. And just for a freshman, the way he controlled the tempo and the pace of the game. And if he does that against, Fayetteville 71st, I think, West Charlotte can pull it out.
All right, so let's get your thoughts on this Weddington team and Panther Creek. I asked Rick earlier on the show, do you think that Weddington, being the dominant team they've been over the last 2 years, will change at all how coaches put together their teams? will they kind of just try to lean harder on homegrown talent like Wellington has, or they still kind of do what folks are doing?
I think they are like the blueprint, and if not an example for coaches, but for players. Because now it's, players, they get a little taste of this and there, and they're moving around. Right. If you just look at these guys, like you said, they've been together since middle school, and the things you can accomplish if you stay together, because there's really like no big, I guess, 5-star or whatever over there. Those guys just, they have great chemistry. They play together. They look phenomenal together, and they've been doing it for a long time. So even playing together over the summer. So if anything, I think it's a blueprint for players. If what you can do if you stay home, and you don't have to go chase anything. Everything will come to you. If you just embrace the process.
But tell me what you see in this game.
One thing about being on this show is that whatever you say is recorded. It is on film. And,
that is true.
I have to say,
hey, J-Ron,
yep.
Saturday, I got so many texts from coaches on Saturday.
I bet.
Hey, I heard what you said. I'm like, oh.
Now, it was really bad in football season. Gary had to change on his neck.
Oh, sometimes they'd be waiting. If I go to a game in football season, sometimes they'd be waiting on me at pregame. Hey, coach, we heard what you said. We heard.
They had Gary clipped out in Chambers.
I got a couple DMs, so let me go ahead and say, man, to Wellington, I apologize. You guys definitely proved me wrong. I did not pick you against Chambers, and I definitely didn't pick you against North Mech. And you played all 32 minutes, all the way down to the last finish, and it shows, man. Congratulations to you guys, 30-0. So let me get that out the way.
All right.
With that being said, I'm not going to pick.
Go ahead, Coach.
I will not pick against Wellington again. I'm going Wellington in the state championship, and I know that my former teammate Shawan Robinson will see this. And I just want to say, Coach, congratulations, great season to you as well. I know that those guys, they take on your personality and they feed off of you. And congratulations. It's going to be a great game. He has a great team. He has a great school. But again, I can't pick. I fool me once, twice. You won't get me a third time. So,
Coach, how big of a deal is it for a team that's been in the finals and been in a lot of big games versus a team that's just coming to the finals for the first time, even though they're playing close to home?
It's huge. It's huge. For one, I'm not sure where the East had their regional games. But
it was at Green Level High School, I think.
So they had it at a high school, and I can tell you, for us, we played at Lenore Rhine, the semifinal, and then you go into that big arena, and the depth perception is huge. The environment, the everything about the gym, it matters so much. So just going there and being familiar with it, it definitely helps you a lot. I know when we went, the South Central had played at ECU the prior, so which is more like a NC State arena. And just that one game, I do feel that gave them a slight advantage. But being there and having that experience and being prepared for the week, like this whole entire week can be overwhelming. So, I just want to tell those guys, stay focused, lock in, keep the main thing, and go play ball when it's time to go play ball. But I do think, being there previously does help.
It's gonna be a good
what J-Ron said, I can vouch for that. When you go from playing in the gym where the basket is 8 feet from the wall versus there not even being a wall behind the basket, I mean, it really messes with jump shooters. It does.
Oh, yeah. Man, we went so if you would have told me that we would have shot like 1 for 14 in the first half of the state championship game, I would have bet everything in my pocket that was not true. But that's exactly what happened, man. We had our worst shooting night of the season, coming from Lenore Rhine going to NC State. So it does matter. It does matter.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Rick, on the Mr. Basketball for the boys, we got down to these 3 finalists, and Coach Goodson gave us his blessing last week. You want to talk about your decision making as you broke this down, Rick?
Well, it was a tough choice. The final 4, I wanted to include a guy by the name of Chase Lowe from Wellington in that list. But, there was one person that just stood out. When we started to narrow it down, there was one person that stood out, and that was Cade Tyson throughout the whole season. You could make an argument for, Jordan Crawford, Daniel Sanford, and also Chase Lowe. But, again, we started with the premise that we were going to go with the best player that we thought was going to be on one of the better teams. And I think overall, you look at Cade Tyson, what he did for Carmel this year, because you got to look at what happened last year. They lost 3 really talented players, and Ben Burnham, Glenn Bynum, and also Justin Taylor. So they lost 3 main players. He was the one kid that came back, and he was the focal point. He averaged like 24 points a game. But the most important win of the year was the win over nationally ranked Greensboro Day for the 4A state championship, where he had 31 points.
Yeah, you beat the highest ranked team in the state, the highest ranked the highest nationally ranked team in the state, 31 points. The score 31 against Freddie is good. I've seen Freddie hold entire teams to 31 before. So congratulations to Hunter Tyson. Y'all can clap.
Absolutely.
It's Mr. Basketball. And we got a little video. What's it like playing for Coach Badger, and what's it like playing for Carmel Christian?
It's really fun. Like he said, he gives us freedom on the offensive end, and I look forward to offense, as you can tell. I'll become a little bit more defensive minded with Coach Badger and everything, but it's awesome to play for him and awesome to play for our atmosphere with Carmel Christian. So.
What led you? I mean, your brother was like the first or second all-time leader scorer in Union County history, Hunter Tyson. Shout out. I hope he's getting better with collarbone. Shout out to Hunter. That's my guy. But what made you decide to leave your home school where your dad's the principal and come to Charlotte to play private school basketball?
I just thought it was the best choice for me, looking into my future, trying to go somewhere for college that I feel like would be the best fit for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Coach Badger made it clear to me that I would fit in at Carmel. And it would help me to have a better future in basketball. So,
Cade, what was the decision-making process in picking Belmont as far as your final, selection for your college?
So it was just the best fit for me, basketball-wise and academic-wise. I felt like my faith is a big part of who I am, and that's a Christian college up there. So that was pretty important to me. And the coaching staff and the teammates up there helped me feel home when I went on my official visit up there. So that was a big part as well.
With a lot of young players today, a lot of people want to wait until they get the biggest offer. In your situation, you committed early. You've had a great year. A lot of people go, well, you know what? If Cade would have waited, he could have gotten something bigger. How do you respond to that?
Well, I'm just confident in my decision to go to Belmont. And, I learned a lot from Hunter's recruiting process. And when he got to Clemson, I felt like he chose the biggest offer he had. And when he got to Clemson, it was kind of a struggle for him. And I kind of just wanted to play right away. I like to play. So, and I just thought it was the best choice for me. So I have confidence in my decision and looking forward to going to Belmont in the future.
All right, Coach Goodson, what do you think of this choice?
I do believe it's a great choice with the final 3. I think what gets Cade over the top is that he did go finish against the nationally ranked Greensboro Day, whereas the other 2, they fell a little short, and I think that's what put him over the top. Great season though. So yeah, I'm gonna agree with Coach with the Cade Tyson pick.
No, I think that's a great pick. There's not that obvious. Normally in North Carolina is that obvious dude, and there's not an obvious dude this year. It was kind of a really balanced season, and Cade had a great year. All right, Rick, it's time to find out who you got in your rankings this week. Getting close to the end, Coach. It's almost time to name a champion. What you got here?
Well, there's probably going to be a lot of argument between number 1 and number 2. Carmel Christian at 26-3, and Wellington, if they win the state championship, they'll win, 49 straight games, and an argument can be made there. Carmel's marquee win over Greensboro Day, which was nationally ranked against Freddie Johnson, I think was the game that sort of solidified it for me that they were the top team in the state, regardless of private or public school. Wellington, should come in second. And of course, the Burlington school is right up there. They won the state 2A championship and is one of the most talented teams in the state and played one of the most difficult schedules on the national level.
They did.
The other schools that we had to add into it was, West Charlotte, 71st, Panther Creek.
Mhm.
They're still playing. And the argument is if you're still playing for a state championship, you should be ranked.
Coach Goodson, what do you see here?
I do not see J.M. Robinson. That was the one thing that stands out
Robinson
to me.
on here. All right.
They are playing for the 2A state championship against Farmville Central, which should be a great game. Another team that has been to the championship before against a team that has been the last couple of years and looking to extend that run. I think J.M. Robinson has a chip on their shoulder. I don't know, Coach Rick might have just helped that chip a little bit by not putting them in the top 20. But that would be the one thing that sticks out to me would be J.M. Robinson not being in the top 20.
Now, we have had J.M. Robinson in the Charlotte Observer Sweet 16 for many, many weeks. So.
Yes, correct.
Hey, Langston, what do you think about this? Since the state blew it on the regional sites.
Yep.
And I'm starting to lose a little bit of faith in them because they don't do common sense things. Why not go around the state to these politicians that are now part of it, and let's have a overall state champion? Well, take the private school champs and the public school champs and put them in a tournament, and let's see who's the overall champion in North Carolina. What do you think about that, Rick?
Hold on. We're going to get to something very much like that in the Coach versus Coach segment. But the NCHSAA is the memorandum of understanding. A vote went out to the membership today, so it looks like that will probably go through a week from today, which would be on the 15th, where the state board and the association are going to partner, and everything they do is going to kind of be a lot more. There'll be a lot more transparency, which is what Chris wanted, and something like you said, that I think there'll be a stronger chance of that happening, and also for teams to go to things like the Geico Nationals and things like that. I think those are things that need to be discussed as well.
I think it would be great for high school basketball in North Carolina if we could see that happen, where at the end of the season you could have public versus private schools.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people like to see it. I mean, those are things that I hear about all the time. I want to see Carmel versus West Charlotte, whatever the matchup is, but yeah, I hear it all the time. All right, it's time for Coach versus Coach. We got Coach Goodson coming in. I'll officiate, and we're gonna leave Rick in. You're gonna play this time, Rick.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, you're gonna play. All right, here we go. All right, I'm not into coin flipping like Alex, virtual coin flipping, so I'm going to make Coach Goodson go first since he's the first person I looked at. Here's the question. Were the Duke coaches right to be mad at UNC and not shaking hands?
So before I got this question, I was not sure why. I didn't know there was a reason why that they did not shake hands at the end. All I saw was Carrawell blow past Hubert. Yep. Or Coach Davis. I'm still not sure why they did it, but I don't think you take it out on them right then and there. I think you definitely shake hands because the game is the game, and if they beat you fair and square, it doesn't matter what happened outside of those 4 quarters or those 2 halves. It's mano y mano, and if I beat you fair and square and I didn't do anything to gain an advantage during the game that was outside the rules, I think we should shake hands and acknowledge that I got the best of you. So, but I'm still not sure exactly what happened for them not to shake hands. I thought it was just they were salty.
He's a dookie. That's just what they do.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Coach. I was thinking, they lost and they were just a little sour, and they didn't want to shake hands. I don't know, Coach. I don't know. It's
Rick Lewis.
No, I don't think 2 wrongs make a right. It's a situation. Even you just have to sort of be above it all and be better than that. And no matter what, it's a national televised game. Mm-hmm. You have to put on a good face, whether you like it or not.
And we just had a coaching confrontation a couple of weeks ago with Michigan and Wisconsin. Yeah. So, Gary.
Well, not only did Carrawell not shake hands, Nolan Smith gave him the no look. Yeah, he stuck his hand out and looked the other way. Yeah. I'm like, what you passing? You passing the ball? What's going on?
Magic Johnson.
Yeah. I'm like, what is up with these dudes? They Coach K kept saying, I don't want to be honored. I don't want any gifts. And I don't want this. So Carolina honored his wishes. He said he didn't want to be recognized. We didn't recognize him.
That's a very interesting take.
Yeah. And then when we don't recognize him, how come y'all didn't give us a gift? Virginia gave us a gift. Clemson gave us a gift. Louisville gave us a gift. Our arch rival didn't give us a gift. Well, a couple of years ago when K1 took the record for most wins by a coach, Carolina honored him. They gave him a plaque in recognition of his success as a coach. So they got to make up their mind.
Now, K has also done some stuff classy, but he won the Carolina Blue Tie at Dean's funeral, which I thought was really classy.
Yeah.
But you know what he also did at Dean's funeral?
What's that?
It was in a small church, and they told all invited guests, which he was one of, do not bring your spouse. Do not bring your spouse. There's no room for spouses. Only invitation for people on the guest list.
Okay.
Everybody honored that, but K, he brought his wife.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I do think
going on in this rivalry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The thing too is when Duke played at Carolina, I do think that a nice round of applause before the game would have been well deserved, and also
not the expletive K.
Yeah, there's no sense in using vulgarity and what they did, toward Coach K. It's a rivalry, but you have to respect the rivalry, and guess what? The rivalry has made each other's program that much better.
Yeah. It's going to be really hot next year. That much I can tell you. All right, Coach Lewis, you got the first question here. Should the NCHSAA move up their state finals to avoid conflict with the ACC Tournament Championship? ACC Tournament Championship starts at 8:30 on Saturday night. That's right in the middle of your 4A championship.
Well, in order to do that, I would think they would need to move up the season, like a week earlier in order to do that. And I don't think they're going to do it because of the football season. So I don't think there's any way around it that it's going to have to fall the same weekend as the ACC tournament.
Gary.
My idea would be to start the games earlier, but I see that they don't have any two games going on in the state championship at the same time. So as we discussed a couple of weeks ago, I'd take a round out of the state playoffs. I think we had too many blowouts in the first round. So if you cut out a round of the playoffs, then you can move it back a week and it won't be a conflict with the ACC tournament.
Coach Goodson.
I don't think they should move it up a week. I think the guys that are playing, they don't care about the ACC finale. They're worried about, their game, and, fans of those teams are still going to go watch the games anyway. And, they can catch the ACC finale when they get home or the highlights or whatever. But no, I don't think they should, go as far as moving it up or cutting a week out of the playoffs, man. I think those teams that barely make it in, they have something to offer, even though you do get a lot of blowouts in the first round. But those teams are some good teams that make it to the playoffs. But no, definitely don't move it up a week.
I have a small solution. In football, they'll a lot of times play one of the football games on Friday night, like at 7:30. So you can take two of the basketball games and play them on Friday night at 7:30, allowing you to have your last game finished before the ACC got started. So you can start your last game at 5 o'clock on Saturday. That would kind of be my solution. I know coaches a lot don't want to cut playoffs, and I get that. All right, so Gary, you're first here. We're going to have to your point, we're going to have a tournament. We're going to take the four public school regional finalists against the private school semifinalists in the tournament. And you can put together a tournament any way you want to, like an ACC Big Ten Challenge, everybody together. Who's winning the tournament, and I'm going to show you the teams just so you get an idea. In the NCHSAA is Carmel Christian, Latin, Canton, Greensboro Day. And in the public schools is Cleveland, Panther Creek, North Meck, and Wellington.
I think the championship game would be Carmel Christian versus Wellington.
All right. What would happen?
Don't do it, Coach.
I ain't picking against Wellington no more, but Joe is my guy. It's hard. That's a hard one, but I'd love to see it. But
so you can be like Randall when I asked him about Catholic last week.
Hey, I'm gonna go with Joe. I'm going with Carmel Christian.
All right, Coach.
That's who I know. I'm just getting familiar with Wellington. I'm picking Wellington for the game Saturday.
Right.
So I'll pick Carmel Christian for the overall championship.
All right, Coach Goodson, what do you see here?
If you would have asked me a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I would have probably gotten it wrong. I'm gonna say Weddington. It would be Weddington, Carmel Christian. You got to go with the two. Somebody that's competing for a state champion, and you got to go with the state champion on the independent side. But I'm gonna take my guys in the public school who just beat two of the toughest teams that you will probably ever see in public school or in all of school in a row, and down to the last second. I think it'll be a close one. And I think Weddington will be down 5 or 6 points. And I think they will pull it out and win by 3 or 5.
3 or 5. Coach Lewis.
That's a tough one. Wow. Man.
I'll show you the teams.
Well, we know what? We
I'll show
have
you the teams one more time. Those are the teams.
I'm with Gary. I'm going with Carmel and Weddington as the two finalists for the overall state champion of North Carolina.
Who's winning?
Let me get a coin.
Here we go. Everybody's skipping on the question. But
what's your pick, Langston? And we're not gonna let you out of this. Put it all on us. Let you get some.
All right, let me. I think it would not surprise me if North Meck played Carmel Christian in the championship game. But that's assuming everything that's happened to now has already happened, and the North Meck and Wellington have already played. I would say North Meck will beat them a second time, and I think Carmel will probably beat North Meck in a close game in the championship game. That's what I would say. But them not playing, I could easily see Weddington and Carmel. I mean, Weddington, North Meck, Chambers, and Carmel are really, really close guys. I mean, there's not a lot of separation. They're all well coached. Weddington has that advantage that the guys have played together that kind of makes up a little bit for the talent gap. I think the one thing that Carmel Christian has and nobody else has is they got that closer dude. They got that K. Tyson who could just go get you a bucket when you need a bucket. That's just different. Chambers has a little bit of Daniel Sanford, but you got to kind of get him the ball.
He's dependent.
Yeah, K doesn't need that. He just, just give me the ball and get out the way. And I'm raising up any guard. I'm raising up. And
yeah.
He's that's why he's Mr. Basketball. That's why he's the biggest high school award in the state of North Carolina. So, but great show tonight, guys. We're in the hour, which is cool. Grace will be happy with me, and we'll be back next week.
Because Randall wasn't on here crying.
We'll be back.
You skip out because Duke lost. Is that what happened?
I think that may have a little bit to do with it. But
I issued him a little bit of challenge last week.
And Gary's going through all his Carolina outfits during the show. You guys notice that he's like changed 3 different times during the show. Yeah. But we'll be back next week to wrap up the state championships, and we're going to start working on the super teams, and we will have a super team show where we'll announce the all-state teams of North Carolina. These are the official teams. So when you look at your college media guys, they say you all-state North Carolina. This is the team that they're talking about. So Rick and Randall and Gary.
Are we having 5 or 10 players on there?
We got to discuss all that. More than 10, I would say. Maybe 20. I don't know. I mean, that's up to you guys. We'll figure it out. But we'll be back next week. That's Coach Goodson. That's Gary. That's Rick Lewis, the #1 voice of high school basketball in North Carolina. I'm Langston. We are Talking